Freedom 35, 5, 5, 5.
Dude, start the podcast.
Wow.
We on, John?
John's on.
John.
B?
Ron John?
John Small?
Long John?
Silver?
I like it. Yo, welcome back, everybody. Freedom 35ers, Cardano NFT podcast, episode 72, technically episode 73 for all the OGs out there. My name is Tommy. I go by TOWNY.
My name is TJ. I go by Lazy T.
And I am Los Otros Tom. I go by Lavish Bear.
And tonight, the other MFer.
You gotta say it.
Is my translation right?
That's yeah. Los Motros, Los Otros, Los Motros.
Been brushing up on my Spanish. For Google
We
Translate.
like to break a mental sweat.
Yeah, Google, what does that mean in Spanish? Nice to meet you, Los Otros Madre Effer. It's kind of fun saying it like that. Aquí MF paparazzi.
Yo, Tango, El Gato, and Pantalones.
I think you just told me you had a big cat in your pants.
I'm a federale.
Such a good movie.
Oh, what's going down down there, Martian T?
Martian T, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Martian T.
Mhm.
I think we're gonna learn a little bit about that. Out there, minting tea over there, minting Martian T. I bet another
Martian
one.
T.
MMT. No, dude, what's up, everybody? Another week, another episode, another podcast. Getting back into the swing of things. No more Twitter space this week. We had a little break. It's been nice to get back into the swing of things, back into the full production mode. I don't know. Did we record a podcast when I got back from the
We did.
the wedding and stuff? Damn. All right. Well,
We
you know, we're getting into this. It's been a little change of pace for me, especially now into the new office.
Still jet lagged.
No, not jet lagged anymore. I've got a new household. So we're
And we can hear the new room. Sounds
the
like
new echo.
You're
I
playing
think-
in a basketball gym.
You need to put up, you need to put some decoration or something in that room because we definitely can hear all the echoing.
Need some carpeting or something. Yeah.
It's very spacey.
Soundproofing.
In here. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is those little like soundproof like mat things. I'm just gonna get them the entire room like that, and then just make it so deaf in here that you can't hear it. I'm gonna hear my thoughts, like hear my brain. Like
Just get like that padding they get in like the mental, crazy asylum.
yeah, I'm just gonna wear a straight jacket.
Yeah,
full
straight
experience.
jacket. Yeah, and just bounce
Yeah.
off the walls. Go
Yeah.
to town.
Like
Yeah.
mystical.
Oh, danger!
It's bouncing back that video, I think it was.
Oh man, I'll never forget that Vine video of him. Good old mystical. Shut your bitch ass. All right. But we digress.
What are we talking about?
Oh yeah, we had a live stream on Monday. How about that? That was fun.
How about that?
These
Just-
MFers.
How's it going? We went late too. It's a little. We've been starting to extend. We're pushing closer and closer to that midnight time during our.
I
during
know
our
it's
live
past my
streams.
bedtime for sure.
Is not LeBron last week was sharing the wrong screen before this. Am I sharing the right one this time?
You are sharing the right screen. Yeah.
All
he's
right,
got
good.
it.
That's
John's on.
John's definitely not LeBron. I'll tell you that. Definitely
John.
an all-star. John
Hey
B.
now.
Ron John. But no, we had a live stream on Monday with TJ, Tommy, and Dallas, Otherist Thomas. Damn, I read that.
Why did you list all of us like we were the guest?
I don't know. I just thought it was funny because I was reading Tom's name down there and it was good.
Now Otherist Thomas.
Otherist Tom.
Should have put like a third on the end or something.
The third. Oh, you should have. Yeah.
Sir
next time.
Thomas. Sir Thomas.
That was a nice
no.
one though, because I can't believe we're already into April. Like, we're
And-
three
and it's not
quarters
butter.
already. Yeah,
What?
I can believe that. I mean,
That's not butter.
so we did
Stop.
a little recap. Quarter one.
I was kept catching up with TJ was saying. We did
I was
do a
I was
recap.
ignoring him. So
All right, that's fair.
I'm a
We-
child.
We definitely did a little quarter one recap on there on top of a live mint on the live stream, which was a lot of fun. It was good just to get back. No guests last. We were supposed to have no guests the week before that, but Hoodro came and crashed the set, which was a lot of fun anyway. But it was a good time to get a chance to go back and we did a live mint, which was a lot of fun on stream, which we might touch on that a little bit later inside the podcast. But it was good to kind of like do a little reflection maybe of the first like 3 months because I feel like we started off so hopeful, even though we knew we were like in a down market, but like getting like to look back at it, we're like, damn, man, we went through a lot of shit in this first like 3 months, like good, bad. And just like the overall sentiment was just like, damn, man, like, I hope, man, it's been a rough first half. Let's first quarter. Let's just knock this out. Let's see where we go from here. But I don't know how you guys feeling these throughout that first. Me personally, I'm like, man, I can't take Cardano on Twitter, but maybe we'll Cardano on Twitter was rough through these
It
first 3
was,
months.
bro. It still is. It is still
Maybe
just drama all the time.
It's a weird mix though, because you have like half the community that just shit posts and is just like, yeah, I'm making profits. Like, I don't care what ADA's at right now. I'm still minting and I'm still flipping and I'm still making memes. And then everyone else is just downtown drama over there.
It's drama. It's drama, memes, or floor price is below mint. It's one of the three. And then shout out to the people. The people that are above it are just like even more like just even more successful. I feel like, but right now that's. Go ahead, TJ. You're about to get into something. I'm feeling.
I was just no. You're good. I was just gonna say it just seems like that my algorithm is just just all drama all the time. It just shows you how small this ecosystem is. Like still, just I see the same people just upset or with the drama all the time.
Are we just in the echo chamber, dude?
I think so, dude.
Is that all we do? We just talk about the same shit, different day. How we get new people in and how we do onboarding. Well, I think we need to be a little more positive, don't we?
100%. Absolutely.
I could use a little more positivity in the space. But
I will say the one thing I see that I've heard like or seen multiple people tweet or write threads on is kind of like the division that we have. It's kind of strange in our community where it's very much like Cardano, it's all about the community. We're all going to make it. We're all in this together. And then you kind of get on the Twitter side and actually start seeing people's posts. And it's like, we can make a tweet that says, hey, we're talking about project A. And everyone's like, so that means you hate project B? And it's just like, what?
Yeah.
No, we're just talking about this other one tonight. Like, oh, why don't you talk about the one that's in my wallet? Mine's the one that matters. I don't care about that project. That's fake. That's a scam. This founder did this. And it's like, I mean, you don't have, I just don't get the division there where it's like, it's all about your wallet and what you want and your profits. And it's never like
pump my bags, Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
That is literally what this is. We talked about this with like when the Bored Ape Cardano Club came in, how it was like kind of, even though everybody was like, just screw this project or derivative. It's not good for the space. At the same time, some people were having fun and making some money. So we got to shit on everybody's parade when that happens. That was like the kind of the mentality outside of just like the whole like moral compass thing. Like you need to hammer that into them. But at the same time, it's like, we do that even with some of the good projects where if like this project's doing well and another's not, it's just like we got to tear that one down and make ourselves feel better about the fact that this one's not doing as well. And it's like
it seems like that we all gonna make a sentiment is just going down a bit more and more each day. Honestly, I rarely even see that nowadays.
I think what it is too is like that bear market vibe is really kicked in, and when a lot of people who are in the space now probably were not in the last bear market. Yeah, no, they did not experience this. So they were just pretty much just like, this is the first time they're dealing with this. And there's a lot of hardship in there. And especially, I'm assuming there's a majority of degens inside this space that have overinvested and their investments aren't panning out exactly how they wanted them to right now. And nobody's happy when that happens, right? Like
and that's assault, brother.
That's assault, brother.
I swear that JPEG store, what is it called? The
airdrop?
Yeah, but what is the actual like link or website?
Recap?
Whatever it is. The recap. Yeah. I think that had some kind of like, took some tolls on some people's, mentally, because you see it, you got excited for the airdrop and it's like, oh, fuck yeah. Like we've seen this happen. Let's see where I'm at. And then everyone started looking and they're like, 50, 100, 200, 500,000 ADA I spent in the past year. But all I have is a couple of pictures in my wallet to show for it and no actual cash or anything. Like, what the fuck have I been doing?
I always think of that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where you're sitting on the couch and you look at that number and you're just like, come on. Like, I don't got any of that stuff sitting in my stuff right now.
I think of the one where it's like the guy at the bar and he's like, I just made $5 million on Bitcoin. And then the girls are like, oh, you buy us drinks? He's like, no, I don't have any real money.
I saw that. Was funny. I did like that one a lot.
Yeah, that's even a throwback to like, oh, that's early episode.
It's like 2021. Right,
yeah, that's a good episode.
OGs might recognize that one. But no, you're right though, because I was thinking about that too, where the XRP had a little run recently with just the whole crypto space and bank, the whole thing going on in the US.
I told you it would.
Oh my TJ knew. He's been saying it for weeks.
TJ's a price predictor. NFA. No, but you think about that, and then I was like, damn, do I have XRP? I'm like, no, I sold most of that for NFTs. And then I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what if ADA just ran up to like $1 right now? I'm like, that'd be great, but all those NFTs that I hold, I need to liquidate those to get that ADA back. Yep. And it makes you like kind of, that's where I've kind of done like another like just had to like back myself out a little bit and be like, all right, this is not that serious. And we may be for like even harder times ahead. I need to go ahead and secure some of this stuff and not just like, I need to consolidate and get out of some of this stuff because we've seen some new projects, or not new projects, some projects that we've been like, especially me, that recently we were talking about space otters and stuff like that, but where you just like anything can change at the instant. And when you least expect it, and you're just like, yeah, I'm over invested in some stuff. I probably should take some ADA back on this instead of just losing all my stuff. And I think a lot of people can probably feel that sentiment right now when it comes to stuff.
I'm trying to find that balance of like the floor of a project, and is it the time to sell, or is it going to run up and go really high and then I can sell? Because I'm worried that if ADA we get into that bull market, ADA starts going up and we see these floors drop down to kind of be the equivalent cash value. Like I could collect a shit ton of ADA now when it's cheap and people are selling stuff for much higher, and then ADA goes to $1 and all those drop. And it's like, I got all the ADA from them when they were still 30 cents.
That's just the gamble that we're playing though too all the time with anything with cryptos. Like, man, I want to get more ADA, but it's also like, but it could run up to this price. It's always the what if, or it could game that we always play. I do it all the time with my shit. Like, I don't want to sell it just yet. I feel like the next announcement, they're going up. They're 3xing from here. Yeah.
Honestly though, like if I look back at it now, I'm just like, you got to just take it, because having it now versus like what it could be later, and then the longer it drags out to get there, makes you sometimes just like, yeah, dude, I'd rather just have that there. And I don't even care if they go up a little bit, because I'm still comfortable with like knowing that I'm secure right now. That's just good. Huh?
I was going to say a good one we mentioned, and not to pick on them again, was just space otters. Like I had that space otter. I wish I would have sold it at the time. I could have.
It was 100.
Now their floor is 24. Mine's like a little bit of a better one, but if no one's buying them at those prices that it has the floor for its traits. And even the ones that are on the floor, no one's really looking to buy anymore. So I think we talked about this very early on. You just got to be comfortable with the number, because people always try to kind of shame, like, you sold then? Oh, well, I knew it was going to 10x. It's like, did you really?
Yeah,
like,
bullshit.
I mean, we say that about a lot of, like, I'm bullish about this project. It's like, not all of them can succeed. Like some of them have to not do well for other ones to succeed. That's why we kind of spread out among projects. And there's a few of these that just aren't going to be.
Yeah,
they may still have a floor that's okay or above mint, but is anyone buying them? If you look at activity for some of these, no one's bought any in the past 2 weeks.
And for the most part, the people that do hold on for a long period of time like that, all these projects, they mint everything, they hold everything, their financial situation is completely different to the next person's, myself included. I liquidated a lot last year because I just needed the actual money in real life. And so my NFTs, I've gone down significantly to even show for it. But like I'm saying, I don't have a big bag of a lot of stuff anymore because I liquidated a lot last year because I genuinely need the money in real life. So that just changes from person to person. So if you're holding the big bag and you can hold it forever and just mint the next project, well, it's because you probably have a different financial situation than the next person, because they need to sell that NFT to get in on the next product that's coming out. That's what happens a lot in this ecosystem.
And I feel like I've seen, I've had those thoughts looking at my JPEG store when I'm playing that game, where I'm like, should I just start selling out? Like, even some of the ones I love, like my Mallard stuff, things like that. Or if I could sell it and ADA starts to rise and I have that now higher US dollar value, I could easily buy back into some of these because they're going to drop the floors. And I'd have all this ADA stacked and I'd be able to buy it up later if I need to. And it's kind of like, Mufasa's showing Simba the Shadowland. It's like, we don't go there. But I'm like, sometimes I look at my thing and I'm like, what if 8 months from now, just all these, like, remember all those things you have in your wallet?
They're all zero.
To them? They're like, they're like not zero. They're just, the floors are still the same because no one's bought or sold anything. Like everything's just fucking, you see the tumbleweeds rolling across JPEG store or something like that. It's just all like a wasteland. And I get, I've had a few moments where I'm just like, is that where we're going? Like, I sure as hell hope not, obviously, but like, do I need to make some moves? Do I need to make some changes here?
Well, it's like even 4 or 5 months ago, Mallard was what, 1,500 to 1,800 floor. If you would have sold then, you could have bought just last week 3 of them for 650 and bought for the price of the one you sold it for. So it just shows you that you can never time this market, any project in general.
You just need to know when to take something and be comfortable.
Like, you gotta know your number. We've said that from the beginning episodes. You just have to know the number you're comfortable with selling. That's what you got to kind of keep in mind.
Yeah. Well, perfect example of that is like knowing the trends of how things work too. Like even for Goofy Gophers, I minted a bunch of those, like we had talked about But on whatever day it was when they announced like the whole announcement that they bought all the 146 miners, they showed the receipt and everything. Everybody, that was a bullish like announcement, right? So everybody was buying in. Maybe people who hadn't gotten in on the mint, but they were waiting to see from the sidelines. People bought, floor price rose. The price for merchants went up to like over 3,000 ADA floor. I bought my merchant for 1,400. I'm like, I offloaded it and I sold it for 3,100 ADA. You can go get a merchant right now for 1,700. So it's like, you know, like that, those give and takes, like it's even knowing, like I said, my thought in my mind was like, how long are people's attention going to hold for this price to really stay this strong? I don't think it's going to be that long. So I'm going to get rid of it now and I can get back in later. So like you said, like even mallards, I sold some mallards at 15, 1,600 and you can get back in. It's just, it's a game, right? You know what kind of a market we're in. So the big thing is like, if you can take the profits, take the profits. But if you want to be in a project long term, just know the ones that you feel like are going to make it through this storm, and you probably get some good deals.
And it's also based on your experience level within the space or just within selling things in general. Because the one thing I've learned, biggest mistake, one of my biggest regrets is not taking 4,000 ADA for my green clay when ADA was over $2. That is my biggest regret in the space so far still. And I just, ever since then, I've learned just sell when you're comfortable or when you're ready or when you think the number is right for yourself. That's just the biggest thing I'll say.
Yeah.
I will say I like that the market, or at least the mentality of the community's kind of shifted. You know, that was a whole, it was really copium then when it was like went to $3 and everyone was like, fuck yeah, we made the right choice, we're on the right blockchain here. And then it started dropping in and everyone was like, 1 ADA is 1 ADA, we're good guys, don't worry. No, don't look at the prices, stop looking at the man behind the curtain, don't worry about it, it'll be back. And everyone was just like 1 ADA is 1. And now it's like, no, this is what we're minting for, $75 US. Like keeping it kind of in that context, keeping it grounded to where you understand, like even with some projects where you're like, oh, I got 12,000 ADA, this mint is only X amount of, you know, ADA, 500 ADA, 300, 180 ADA. But then remembering sometimes like, oh, that's like, you know, $100 US or something. You know, that's like my groceries for the week or something like that. Like kind of still keeping it in real terms, because so much of it is this like fake imaginary shroot bucks, just online numbers is not real. And that's how you can get in trouble. You know, it's the same thing when it's like, oh, like credit cards. Yeah, it's like free money. It's not even real. Like, you know, you just got like, what, I pay like $20 back a month and I get to buy like, you know, $5,000 TV, you know, my full wall. And it's just like, no, it's like real money and now you owe that. You know, you are spending like real cash.
Well, that's like equine too. We think about, people are complaining about the price of some of these projects now, but if you remember what equine was back in the day, yeah, it was 250 ADA, but ADA was like over $1, so it was just over $300 you're paying. And I love equine a lot. I'm just saying, people are in uproar over these USD prices when that shit was over $300 and they minted over 11,000 of them.
It honestly depends on like if you can make a return. That's what most. It doesn't even matter the dollar value sometimes of what you're minting for, because you can look back even like recently at the BTCD gods that minted for like, I don't know, $8,000 to mint, and now they're selling for almost a Bitcoin, right? So it is all relative to, can you make money on it? Is it hype enough? And will I see a return? Like, doesn't matter. It's a lot of people don't even care about the price at some point. There's like, if it's gonna return me, I'll do whatever I can to get that money. It's just so I can, you know, YOLO it out and take a profit. And that's where the majority, like we see in this space, is it's all financially motivated at the end of the day. Whether you're a community or not, like, you know, that community is there because there's a financial incentive that the community is going to grow, the thing is going to get better, and you guys eventually will make a return.
I mean, you see it too. I mean, definitely some of the communities that are a little bit more active, you know, have more regular people chatting and contributing memes and art and just hanging out in general, are usually with ones that have higher floor prices or ones that have done really well and have made money for those people, and they've held on now or bought back in and they've made profits. Whereas you see projects that, like, you know, are sitting at a 19 ADA floor, go hang out in their Discord, and it's definitely not as active as some of the bigger ones. And now that makes sense. Some of those communities are just bigger in size generally, so relative, but you definitely can see that, like, obviously the people that are making all the money are going to be happier, and the ones that are sitting there that have lost money after the mint are not going to really want to hang out in those Discords.
No. At the end of the day, we're building startups essentially for a lot of these different companies, these brands, whatever they're doing. And if it's not hot, people move on to the next thing. And that's just the reality of the market we're in. And once you realize that, it should hopefully help you detach that whole mindset from like your actual dollar value you're spending on some of this stuff. But speaking of dollar value that you're spending on stuff, yo, shout out to Clay Rich, the team over at Club Mars, because they just minted today. And not they were actually supposed to mint on April 1st. and they had some issues with the minter. Some of them got minted out, and they were like, you know what? We're going to put our money where our mouth is. We're an IRL brand. This NFT is an extension of that IRL brand that's already been successful, and we want to get more people into our ecosystem and interact with us. We're going to put up our own money, and we're going to mint out this collection for free. The only thing you guys need to do is put 3.5 ADA and some gas behind it. I guess it's technically not free, right? It's a very heavily discounted price. And they gave it directly to people who held. So all your pass holders that had the Club Mart pass were able to mint 15 of these things per, each. And then anybody who had got a chance to mint one of those Martians in the meantime were able to mint 10 of them. Paid a 3.5 ADA plus the gas fee, and if it sold out, it would go to public. But that sold out pretty quick. TJ, you had a nice little fun minting story.
I did. I actually brought the laptop with me on the road, hooked up the hotspot, and I minted it with peppermint. Smooth mint, by the way, with peppermint. Got all my Club Mars passes. Not my passes, the Martians.
Isn't that crazy?
So that was dope. I got some cool ones too. Honestly, I really like some of them I got.
Dude, they actually look really good too. Like, so they minted for 3.5 ADA plus your gas fees, and they're sitting at a 24 ADA floor, which in theory right now, right, they've roughly like just under 3x or 8x.
It gave me like the Marsburg vibe, right? Because you could just the amount that I can mint, it just felt like that, and they were so cheap. So the return, I sold 2 of them just to reap the cost of the initial sending fee.
Honestly, when they're that cheap, it's just it really gives you that extra room to grow. It doesn't, you almost, at that price, you can't drop below floor price after mint. Like no one's selling those at 1 ADA. Like they're going to sit on them and see what happens because they've sunk so little into it. And then it gives it that room to grow where it can just get to even 20 ADA floor. And you've seen that X amount, growth already right off the jump. It kind of like really helps it along doing that. Whereas I think that's a tough one for, I guess, projects to kind of find that balance because they need the money on their end for the actual development and they want to get their money for their team. But also you can kind of like really put your foot in your mouth when you have a high mint price and then it drops below mint right away. And the community just kind of loses interest. Like these aren't hyped. These aren't doing well. I'm selling mine, getting out. And that's the end of it. And then like we see those discords kind of slow down. We see the communities die off. We see the Twitter hype die down. And then the project never kind of gets to its full next stage. Not even like the full like development final stage, even like stage 2.
Yeah. No, I think it's nice too when you can actually get a chance. Like these guys didn't need the money to do what they were doing. That was the big difference compared to a lot of projects where a lot of them are, they're funding inside the mint round. And in this case, they're like, we already have a company, it's doing well. This is a way to bring this extension and grow new people into our, just what we do. And they really, I guess they made it. I didn't realize this either, is that they decided to go with their original plan, which I didn't know this was the original plan, was to do free NFT mints on there. So they were basically they do have some company funding over there that they were planning on, but this didn't really affect it as far as the mint goes. And now they've got all these new people bought in. So I thought it was a really cool thing of them to be able to just to be like, yep, this is what we're doing. And they were successful, and the community really embraced this too. It was a very like big thing for them. And I think I don't know if you guys got a chance to see earlier in the week too. I think Clay Rich officially like doxed himself too, didn't he?
I think he did. I think I saw a picture of it as well. Someone actually mentioned that in a thread about them.
Yeah,
he did dox himself. That was sick. I like that with the wrestling belt.
Dude, they did so many of these that actually look really good. I'm trying to scroll down to see where his stuff was, but they've actually retweeted. They're very active too, which is actually really good. It's not like this is just like you can know like where you see a new project come out, you're like, I don't know about this. Like, this may not do well, it may do, all right. But they've been very hyped up, and I think this decision to go this free route, like I said, they were financially able to do that, and it didn't affect them at all. Like this is a very good like marketing move for them as well.
Absolutely, because it was just like, all right, it's a free cheap mint, and even now it's cheap on secondary. So if you wanted to buy in with the project, you still can at a very, very cheap entry point, and that is Nafafa as always. But you can be it gets, like you said, it's free marketing. When you say you have a free mint, it just brings people's attention over there.
Oh, they did a great job.
And then you see that kind of growth too, where people are like kind of starting to pay attention. Like, oh, like, yeah, I'm not going to mint that 3 ADA. What kind of bullshit is this? And then it's like, oh, now it's worth 10 ADA. Now it's worth 20 ADA. Like, oh shit, like, did I miss? Like, what am I missing? I need to go buy in right now. It definitely catches the attention of the community. I mean, we've seen, I'm sure there's been plenty of cheap mints that just weren't hyped enough where I came across, you know, our desk. But the amount of times we've now seen these mints come out that are 3 ADA, 5 ADA, 10 ADA, and with, you know, that first week hype right after where they're, you know, getting up 20, 30, 40, what were those Mars birds up to at one point? 60 ADA?
They're up there pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen quite a few of those, the stick motherfuckers or whatever they were. We've seen quite a few do this now.
That's right. Oh, real quick to pivot to that, I did see that stick fricks, you could trade in your stick frick if you were holding into MFR or
Yeah, I know.
MFR.
Yep,
Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking
You
about.
can
Yep.
transfer a stick frick to that?
Yeah, I saw that today actually.
Why?
I don't know. I just
nobody knows, but it's provocative. I'll tell you that. I'm not making it to this point in post over here. I've scrolled 9,000 feet down, but
well, I'm checking out Club Mars Discord. I do see Jazzy Fresh is a 25 plus Martian holder, and Rez, shout out to Rez, it says he has 12 plus in there. He has to roll in the Discord, so shout out to them.
Yeah, there you go. And also shout out to Club Mars too, because I know we had talked about this on the live stream, but since I hit this right here on the timestamp, the order that we have with them for
I can't wait to rock that.
Our F35 chains, dude. Check those out, man. Such cool stuff. Because like I said, they do all these jewelry, all this custom stuff. They have the really cool boxes that they had shown us too, which you'll see here in a second over there. But their branding, their whole like just marketing and just overall presentation for the quality of the products that they do, man. It's very well done, very
that's surreal to see,
professional, like really crazy. Yeah, it's really crazy to look at something like this and just be like, I can't wait to rock these when
I know.
get them.
The boxes are pretty dope, but now I feel like I got to get a handgun or something to use that box.
Get like a John Wick style or something.
100% over
I feel like a guy in a suit just gonna drop it off near a park bench and we have to pick it up afterward or something.
Yeah, like you both sit down at a bench. He stands up, he puts it down, stands up, walks away.
Yeah,
exactly. 100%. No, it's really cool of them to go ahead and be able to do that. Big shout out to them for, like you said, recognizing that the community, it could have gone the other way, right? Where there's like, oh, this isn't working out, and then the whole hype dies down and they don't sell out. But now they've got a whole community of people, and some people bought in pretty heavily who may have not, originally been like, I don't know about this, I might not grab a couple, but now they've got a bunch and they're like, they're bought in with them and they're interacting, and we'll see how it goes from there. But big shout out to Clay Ritz, the whole team over there, and very much looking forward to what they've got going on, because this is the example of a real life business that is has an NFT collection right now, and they don't necessarily need the NFTs to keep operating because they've already been doing that. So it'd be cool to see how they continue to operate going forward. And also huge shout out to him for, I know originally TJ, you got us into that with the whole jewelry thing. So it's been cool to kind of see that all kind of come full circle.
No, I can't wait till we get those. I'm definitely gonna rock that shit for sure every episode.
Oh yeah. One thing that we wanted to go ahead and mention though is the whole there's been a big debate over here on the Cardano Twitter side of stuff, and I don't know, man. It's been a spicy topic, and I don't know if it's just bear market vibes right now. But this is definitely something that's come up and getting people to like, guys, but why are we charging more money here? cNFTcon has
NFT LV.
Okay, just NFTcon.
NFT
Proud
LV.
to see. No, man. cNFTcon was getting, they've released pricing and stuff like this. It's been out for a little while. It's not anything new that the pricing's out, but the whole, I guess, conversation around the increase in prices has been a big topic inside the space, especially today over on Twitter. And man, it got brought up mainly from I guess it was Congo, and then L had a space today, and it was just a back and forth, and Adam Dean stepped in over from their side, and there's a back and forth conversation, but it was mainly like, hey guys, why are your booth prices so much higher this year? And what's incentivizing people to pay that price to come there, especially with engagement and stuff down, and we're in a bear market, like prices are hurting, why are we doing this? And it brought this whole conversation up. It actually exposed a lot of information I wasn't really aware of either, in a sense.
Do you remember what projects had that those big booths last year? Do you remember which ones had that?
Major booths. Old Money actually did have a pretty big one.
They had that huge display on the floor too. I assume they had to pay for
some
of that space.
Probably.
Cornucopias.
Clay had that huge area.
Yeah, Clay did too, for sure.
Had that huge
Virtua had a pretty big area with a Shelby car and everything.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like, I'm trying to think of who had those. Like, I don't even think they would want to pay that much again for that con, honestly. And when I
what are they at now? How much are they up to?
Like,
so
$16,000.
They go, I think 16,000, maybe like the
$16,000.
most expensive one, which is like the big one.
No,
No,
dollars.
$16,000 for a booth.
16,000
That's the
Benjamins.
max one over there. So don't get me wrong. This is the other thing, is that that narrative has been going around. Yeah, that's the price for some of this stuff, but they've also got $800.
Tom's brewing right now.
Tom's brewing. So you can still get a 10x10 booth for $800. For $800.
And it comes with a trash can. It
does come with a trash can.
That's what it says on there.
It does.
That's their selling point.
But yes, no, that is a thing. How do you feel about that, Tom? Let me know.
I mean, I don't have enough of the metrics from the first one. I'd like to, we'd have to hear more from the actual projects themselves. Like, obviously getting to connect with the community in person has its value and is a lot of fun for the space. Is fun worth 15K in that sense? I can't imagine. That's hard to think that you have that kind of return. A lot of the people that were here are members of these communities already. So it's not like, even like kind of like a marketing cost. Like like Cornucopias had some great interactive things. You could actually get to play the game. You guys get to meet the team at Clay or the team at Equine and actually sit down and talk with them. That was really cool. But is that worth $15,000? Like, you got to think some of these teams are their budget, if they're budgeting things out for marketing or advertising and for events like that. Like, I can't imagine that they were prepared for a 15K.
No, well, so behind there too, though, TJ, we've got some context, right? You were talking about this, was that they last year, or the last one, they had budgeted their buy-in. It was either, you said $1.50, but I heard $2. It was somewhere in that $1.50, $2 range of ADA. Like, they had originally put pricing out for it with ADA expected to be at that price, and then ADA did what it did last year and tanked. So they, I guess, were taking an L on some of the costs, but they wanted to stay true to their pricing to the people that they told them about. And then there was a lot of hidden cost. We found this out too, that not only, the booth was one thing, but then you had to pay for the carpet. Then you had to pay for the electricity. I remember we were out walking around TJ last year. People were like, dude, it's really expensive to pay the electricity stuff, like fees here as well, just to keep the booths operating. So this time around, they wanted to make it all up front, was that this all included all that too in this price of the booth now.
And so the trash, how much is electricity?
I heard last year, I remember talking to Dilly and stuff. He's like, dude, the pricing here is stupid high. I don't remember the exact metrics, but that was a comment made last year that now hearing it now makes more sense.
And they're using the same hosting location, right?
So that's the thing, that the team from BuffyBot, they're close in the area to Vegas. So it made more sense to them to be able to get the experience and get everything they needed there to the venue. That's why they chose to do the same one. They had a repertoire already with the people in the area, so they wanted to go with that same experience, from what I understand.
I have a lot of jumbled thoughts about this whole situation.
It sounds like, I mean, is their cousin also the guy that runs the power plant over there? Like, what's going on? Who's getting their pockets filled? Like, I mean, why? I understand there's going to be some premiums on some things, but like, to make it that difficult for a project just to show up and kind of connect with their fans, like, this is almost something like you could almost do like what Old Money did, not get a booth and just be like, oh, we're having an after party, come hang out. We rented.
They did have a booth. They technically had a booth there.
That's what I'm saying though, but you could almost just not have a booth, come out to cNFTcon when it's going on, be a guest, pay $40 or whatever for your guest pass, and then, hey, we rented a place ourselves. It was $1,000 for like catering and drinks. It wasn't $15,000, and we're having an after party after the event is done. Because how late was it even open, the actual convention center?
Most people got out of there, I'd say maybe like 4 or 5
exactly.
But yeah, it was a little
go out, get dinner, and then afterwards, like, hey, come out, hang out. We're gonna have,
it was a huge place. I'll give them that.
Snacks, chicken tenders. That's what I mean. Do they need that much space? Do they need that big of a place?
Well, I don't know. Now with the pricing, though, who's gonna, are they gonna have that many people as far as boosts like really be out there?
That's my concern, is that like, if you're gonna go and then it's a ghost town and half the booths are empty, because some of these projects are also taking that same hit that they explained on the ADA cost, and some of them probably have their money still in ADA because they didn't take it out originally because ADA was doing great. It started tanking. They're like, we're not going to take out all of our liquidity right now and take a huge hit when we think it's going to go back up. So we're just trying to kind of squeak by and not go under and keep the ADA in ADA until it goes back up. And are they going to be able to come up with that kind of money even, is where it gets a little rough.
Well, I think that's the thing too. I think they need to, if they want those prices, and they want to drop the C in the cNFTcon and just call it NFT LV, whatever they want to call it, they need to start marketing to other blockchains to say, hey, we have an NFT conference coming up in Vegas. These are the prices of the booths. If you want to get your eyes, or you want eyes on your project from other blockchains, then hit us up for the NFT Las Vegas. I think that's what they're kind of leaning towards. But I, like you were saying, Tom, I heard a couple projects even say what you just said. Why don't we just go rent out places in Vegas, and we'll just save a lot of money and have our community come there, and if people want to show up, they can show up too. And then even Demosthenes made a really cool idea, I thought, was having like a CNFT crawl. You have different areas of the city of where everyone's project is, and you can kind of do a bar crawl just with cNFTcon in a sense, doing that way. And it's significantly cheaper for even the booth people, and honestly even for the people that wanted to show up, because honestly I want to get the premium pass, but I don't want to spend this for the $600 one either. That 120 to 600, that's a huge jump too. That is a massive jump. As a person who's even just going to cNFTcon, I know there's a $40 one, I get it, but you don't even get to go to the pre-party on Friday with the $40 one.
Yeah, so last year, if I remember right, and this was early on, I believe it was like 60 ADA at that time, which makes sense that they budgeted at the $2 thing, because this is now $120, right? So I get it, right? Like, this is what the reality cost is now.
I'm not upset about that price. I'm not.
$120 again. I'm not mad at this. The Diamond, I don't think that the exclusive events are worth that, in my personal opinion. Yes, they are making it disclosed. Yes, you get 350 million Hosky tokens.
I like that.
Yes, you get some exclusive hoodies and badges. You get some stuff from an Aeonium Sky. Again, there's some exclusive stuff. So, but this difference, why make up a $500 difference almost? No, probably not.
That is not though. Like if you're regular person, like regular goer of conventions, those prices as far as for like the event pass, that's not crazy though. I mean, because that's very accessible at $40.
No,
120 for the like right now.
Those two, I'm okay with that. Yeah,
like SakuraCon is going on in Seattle, or like we have Hallmat here in Orlando, and the prices are, I mean, even the main regular pass to go all 3 days is going to be over $40 or something like that. It's closer to just the main regular general admission is closer to 120, and then usually it's just one tier up. It's not usually a 3-tier. I mean, they're all different, but yeah, I mean, those prices aren't absolutely crazy, because that's something you kind of get to choose. Like, oh, well, I would love to get VIP access and stuff like that, but I don't have the 600, so I'm going to pay $40 and I still get to go and enjoy everything and experience everything. But if you really want to get all the special stuff, and I agree, I don't think some of the items in there are necessarily worth like $600 in value, but that's also just kind of a convention thing. That's usually how it is. That's where they're kind of making up their money, their time. They got to invest a lot of time and resources into running these, so they got to make some. But the booth prices, it's just more scary. I don't want to, you don't want to go and it's like, where is everyone? They're all having after parties. Cool. Why did I buy a ticket?
You make a good point though. It is scary to hear and to see on Twitter that a lot of these big name projects that we're fans and holders of that are skeptical of even going because of this.
Yeah, I think right now you've only got somebody asked, I think it was Farmer Nash asking, hey, who are the exhibitors that are out there that have already reserved? And we've seen a few of them. Like Hosky is definitely the biggest one, the gold sponsor, and then you've got Aeonium Sky, which I'm really excited. I'd love to see Aeonium Sky. Virtual is back again, of course, but bigger project, and you got Ada Inmates, Apple, Royal Chess Club, and Stellar Hood. Outside of that, it's like, who else is signed up right now? You would think that people would want, in $800 is $800. Like, I'm not saying that's anything too crazy out there, especially with some of the dollar values that these projects really like fork out to get from their communities. But there's also a marketing and like a smart sense of dollars, where some of these ones that want to represent as a huge project like they did last year are not going to fork over the $10,000, the $8,000, $6,000, whatever the prices are. Like, they aren't as crazy, some of the prices, but the big booths are definitely up there. But you can also get a 10 by 10 booth for $800 too.
Well, that too. Then I think we're going to see that more, because I think that was the first live one, and I think projects probably learned a lot from it, and it was probably a lot of fun to have some of those bigger booths. But I'm sure some of them realized too, like, we don't need all that space. Like we don't need all of this. There's no need to it's fun to build out bigger areas, but we can easily be just as effective at one of the normal booths and be able to connect just as much with our community and be there in attendance without spending, 10 times the price.
I also saw that too. People were like, I kind of feel like I'd get a better return if we didn't even do anything crazy and we were to actually just running around with our shirts on and like getting a chance to talk to people on the fly.
Yep.
So there's two sides to that. Adam Dean did respond to this though today in light of today's like event. So they definitely are more like receptive to it. They said that, hey, we need to market this better. We do need to do a better job, because that was the other argument inside the space. It's like, if I'm paying you $16,000, like, what are you guys doing on the marketing side to ensure that this is like out to everybody? Because somebody argued, well, the projects need to market it too. And it's like, yes, they do to an extent to their own communities. Like, hey, we're going to be out here, we're going to be doing this. Of course, you want to get people out there, but this thing, if you're going to pay that kind of money, what are you guys doing to make sure that this is a successful event and gets the right foot traffic to require a price of this stature at this point?
Well, from the project standpoint, like, especially from their side, like, yeah, they're going to bring their own community out, and it's great to interact and meet them. Like I've said now a few times, that's cool. It's cool to be able to meet those guys and hang out and get to talk to some of the creators and actual founders and see them in person for the first time. But all those people are going to be part of their community already, and they're going to have NFTs, and it's not going to really have any sort of financial return or any growth return for the project itself. So unless they're bringing in some sort of like getting people intrigued and getting new people in there to check things out and actually learn about these projects and hopefully grow the space, then I 100% agree. Like, they need the people outside those communities to come in, is where the projects themselves see the value come then.
Absolutely. And I think, again, I'm not knocking them, because they definitely are open to this. And they said, we have not done a nearly a good enough job in marketing to our potential exhibitors to help detail the benefits of what you're getting, why we're doing it, and et cetera. We absolutely need to do better. They do have deposit and payment plans. They have different packages depending on what you need. Do you get more than just a simply overpriced real estate with the packages? Yes, we're going to do a better job of explaining what it all is. And we can kind of cater a package to your own liking. In that sense. So I think they're willing to understand that, hey, we do need to do a better job about marketing this. And I think hopefully this is a productive conversation. It sounds like it is, at least from what we're seeing right now. And like you said, hopefully this just pushes them at least to evolve this whole model that they had. Like, of course, the first convention is never going to be good, what it could be, but it allows them to learn. And I hope with these excessive prices over there, it's also what you would like to see, like stuff like the Cardano Foundation. I know a lot of people are pushing that out there. Like, why are we not getting Catalyst funding for something like this? Like, why, they get it for Rare Bloom, but why are we not doing it for the NFT section? So this goes back to like the whole decentralized approach with Cardano, just in general, of like, we're not going to fund and throw money at everything. It's not going to be just a bunch of VCs that are pumping this stuff up, but you would like to see some support from your top down, which I know, don't get me wrong, Charles came out last year. That was a huge benefit to this. If Charles doesn't show again this year, that will be very telling too about the event in itself. So I haven't heard if he's going to make it or not. I'd hope that he is. But you want it to be as successful and as marketed as much as you guys can, so it gets more attraction from other people, just in general.
Well, I'm happy to see that. Oh, go ahead, TJ.
I was just gonna say, I just think for cNFTcons going forward, I've said this probably multiple times now, but I really strongly feel they need to change locations after this next one, because
he did say they have. They're looking at that already. Like, they're going on tour, even going to different continents, is what they said.
That's fine. Just change locations. Like, honestly, like, it should have been somewhere different this year. That's my personal opinion on that, because Las Vegas itself is a very expensive place as a tourist to go. It's very expensive. So to even have an event there, I can only imagine the prices that they're getting charged. If they would have went somewhere a little more cost efficient, because we're such a smaller community, this is only our second one, it could have been a lot better all around for the people going to the conference and the people that are having booths, if they would have just changed it, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
and I was just going to say, it's good that Adam Dean said all that and kind of communicated that, but you would have liked to have seen it come beforehand. Like, he even admits that like some of the bigger packages are going to be more akin to like a sponsorship, where you're going to have your name and more promotional material, and then goes on to say, we haven't communicated that well. That's great that he's now being open about it, and is being communicative about it, and kind of like not just going in the dark. But why was this not handled a little bit better already? Why was this not communicated and given the value up front? What are these sponsorships? What does that entail? How much am I going to be promoted? How much is my name going to be around? Before the backlash starts, explain this on the front end. And you can just see where this is all still a learning experience. This is just the second live one. And not to say that they're doing a poor job or anything as far as what I've heard from the experience last year, but it also is just kind of like a little telling of like, oh, so this is still like, you guys are learning as you go as well. And you're asking me for $15,000 for something that you're not really sure about how to do yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's when we're early. I just would like to see if yes, maybe get some cross-chain support, like they said, of bringing other people from other communities in, like getting it to be as big as it can to attract users would be like the goal for it. So I just hope that the people that are running and continue to keep running and organizing these events really tap in with the community itself, the people who are in this day in, day out. So we're all on the same page, if not from their reality versus like the community's reality. And I think that Twitter spaces, things like this, that the back and forth, and at least they're being communicative about it, hopefully will put this in the right direction. And hopefully it won't put a more divisive thing inside the community. And maybe if they decide to go that route of like, we're going to go do our own thing, maybe that puts the conversation instead of, okay, guys, instead of being this little divided small community already, why don't we work together to make it bigger? And we hear what you guys are saying almost. So I guess we'll get more out of that. And I know it's still early, but
Florida.
go to Florida. Hey, come down here.
Orlando, a lot of
Gaylord
places you can do
Palms.
that. Easy.
Damn, that would be
International airport. Easy does it.
Easy does it. Hey, we're getting into some new mints that are coming up, and I know we're going to jump on a live stream on Monday to talk about some of them, but
We are
actually going to do that. But one that we cannot forget to mention over here, because we have a direct partnership, and big shout out to a longtime friend of the show, a guest, Blake over from the Spark Lab, his project. Blake.
Why did you say
that? I don't know why, because it reminded like the Soulja Boy Drake. But anyway, Blake from Blake CNFT has his own project that's coming out on April 11th, which is next. What day is that? That is Tuesday next week. April 11th, the Spark Lab is minting. There is 1,000 of these. Anywhere. He has not given the actual dollar value yet. It will be range anywhere from 150 to 250 USD, which ranges from 400 to 658 at the current level. It's just going to be 100% whitelist mint, and there will be a free option, there will be a pay per month option, and then there will be a lifetime membership option that will be the NFT that he's going to be selling here.
Not a free option of the NFT or a monthly option. You're talking about the actual memberships on the Spark Lab, this website for the content and streaming. Yeah. And then the NFT gives you that lifetime membership.
Correct.
For like the more premium content, things like that.
Oh yeah, and then if you don't know what the Spark Lab is, or you haven't seen our interview with Blake, or don't know what's going on, you're living under a rock a little bit. Basically, what he's doing is it's becoming a content library for crypto and NFTs. It's a one-stop shop. It'd be a token-gated thing, unless, like you said, at least if you own the NFT, it'll be connect your wallet. He's working with Thad from Wild Tangs as a developer on that. And basically what he's doing is curating all the amazing Cardano crypto content with partnered projects and as well as content creators like ourselves, and are basically putting it in one spot for everybody, kind of get you away from the distraction of YouTube. And if somebody logs in, it gets everything. It's curated in a way that kind of is more of like a Netflix experience in that sense, where you can log in, you can see stuff by categories. It's going to be all the same timestamps. It's going to be uploaded in higher resolutions than YouTube because it's run through Vimeo, I believe. So it's got some cool stuff that's integrated into it, but at the same time, it's meant to kind of be like, hey, you don't know what's going on in Cardano NFTs, or you want to learn more about it, pick up one of these or get a membership to one of these passes that he's selling, and you'll be able to go ahead and get all your stuff in one spot. Is the idea behind it.
I'm excited to see it live, because he said it's day one ready. So as soon as you mint it, you go right to the website and use it. So I'm very excited to check it out and see it in its full capacity, because we've only got to see it from his side, from his sharing screen. We actually haven't gotten to see the other end. So I'm excited to see that.
And then same thing with us, man. This is being the content creators that we are. All of our videos that you know and love over on the YouTube side will go ahead and be dropped basically into this this platform here, so you can go ahead and know your, whether it's YouTube or whether it's on here, your timestamps, all that will be the same. And then on top of that, they're going to have original content that's exclusive to Spark Lab that you will not find on YouTube. So I don't know.
Well, speaking of YouTube, Tommy, you just had me spark something here. If you guys are enjoying the show, enjoying the content, please give a thumbs up and hit that sub button. Thank you.
Yeah, good call. I like that. A little plug inside of a plug. This is gonna be fun, because this will allow us to, as far as content creators too, like do things a little different too. Like, hey, maybe the YouTube algorithm isn't working right now, or maybe this, this is something a little different than we normally do. We can have the option to go ahead and actually put it out here, and kind of almost like a test market for us too, to be like, hey, do you guys enjoy stuff like this from us, or allow us to be a little bit more creative? And the other side of this too is like, we don't need to fight with the battle of YouTube of like, hey, how are we going to stand out? How is this going to look like? Are we going to be able to get seen outside the millions of videos of YouTube? Whereas here, it's like you can put it out there and you're got a direct, as far as being a featured content creator, there's a link right there for us, and anybody can click on it and they can go in and get what they need. So
Well, I mean,
it's cool from both sides.
It's really cool because it's definitely a thing. That's why YouTube is partially so successful, because you can get so sucked in and so lost watching videos. But at the same time, it's very easy. Like I've sat down and I'll open a couple tabs, or I'll save them from on my phone to like watch later. And I start going through to watch them. And then all of a sudden you're watching, at least in your guys' case, reaction videos, or, people getting their ears cleaned out or whatever it may be. And it's easy to just get off track, and all of a sudden you've been like, wait, it's 2 a.m. and I started doing this at 11:30. What just happened? And then I also didn't even get to watch I didn't get to watch Thor's video on what I actually wanted to watch, because I got distracted by these other two, because the titles were good and they had that kind of clickbait pull to them, and I ended up getting into it, and
guilty as charged.
My brain turned off. It's
all the time.
Late. Well, it's late at night. I've worked all day. I'm just trying to relax, and I got into some videos and they were fun.
Yeah. Whereas here, like, you can just, you go there and you know what you're getting, kind of thing. Like, you're in
no
that
distractions.
mindset. And even more so, that what they're doing now outside of just the YouTube and content creators, as you guys know, is they're partnering up with projects as well to curate their own content. So Change of War, you've got Cornucopias was a huge announcement from them.
Yeah,
so all the Copy Cafe and all their game stuff, you'll be able to see directly over there. So these projects will have their own pages. So even if their YouTubes weren't doing that well or anything like that, or it just wasn't getting the reach they wanted, they're also in that same kind of boat as us, where they're able to go ahead and get their stuff showcased. Wolves of Rome was the newest one that got dropped this week as well. So it's really cool to see, not only the content creators, it's a platform for them to continue to grow, but it's also a platform for projects who are like, hey, I didn't realize that you guys did content outside of your normal just NFTs. Let me go ahead and check out what you guys got going on, and we can learn a little bit more. So I'm curious to see how this grows. And it's a very massive undertaking to kind of want to challenge YouTube, this billion-dollar giant. But in a way,
going up against Ivan Drago over here.
Yeah. So we're going to see how the community responds, but I do like the fact that, again, you don't need to pay for this if you don't want to but you won't get all the features, but you don't necessarily, you can get in for free to check it out, see what the basics of the layouts, some of the videos that are on there. And if you want to dive deeper into it, you can kind of make your way. And again, if you're looking for a lifetime membership and you're going to be around for a long time, I mean, that price point right there is your buy-in forever. So really cool stuff, and happy to be a partner over there with Blake. Known him for a long time. Big shout out to him for starting something up and kind of trying to educate everybody and bring new people into Cardano. It's a really cool project.
I'm excited though too. It's fun for us. It just kind of going to push us a little differently too. Kind of get some extra content out there. Maybe set up some of these interviews that we've been usually doing live streams, but maybe time to kind of reach back out to some projects we weren't able to get on for the time slot, and maybe do like some Saturday recordings where we can release them now on Spark Labs.
Some of Tommy's original music too. Some of the stuff he's coming out with.
Dude, hey, Cardano Thor, I see him making all these music videos. I'm just inspired at this point to go ahead and tap back into some old roots. And then worst case scenario, worst case scenario, not YouTube. No, my friends on YouTube can't go like Google it and make fun of me. They have to go at least purchase something to get in there. So, Blake, worst case, I'm gonna bring you a few new people, but no, it should be fun to be able to explore. And hey, if we want to do a market update, you want to know the F35 market update, I don't know, maybe go check us out in Spark Lab. You never know. Just throwing that out there. But no, it'll be a fun time. And next week, again, April 11th, make sure you go check it out. At least go show some support for Blake if you guys have been supporting our show for a while and you enjoy great Cardano content. Huge shout out to him. One thing that we did want to just kind of circle back to, we did do the live mint over here on the live stream on Monday. The old MX bills from Old Money are minting currently, and they're in the first phase. There's a 2,000 supply. I think roughly, I don't know, we're like getting, I don't know if we pushed over 700 today or not, but they're starting to get up there. And their 400 ADA price point. It is the public sale right now, and they're minting at like a reasonable pace. They're not going for like the full send, like insta sellout right now. They've kind of given you this whole experience, which has been really fun. We got a chance to check this out in the live stream. Tom, you totally like brought this up. This is some like serial killer or something like that.
Diogo Alves.
Yeah, it was wild to see that. Like all the little...
They like he was I think he did something like where he's chopping heads off and they saved his head. It's like a And the one next to it is it's a clown, right? That's the clown.
Yeah, it's one of the clowns. Yeah. So they did a great job at like just messing around and like actually like making an experience for this. We've seen our video for this, but you've seen some others that have posted it. But I've seen a lot of people also inside the community kind of be like, yeah, I don't know. And then like, yo, I had a great time with this mint right now. It's been a lot of fun. And it's been kind of fun. Like, I don't know. This is like the interactive experience.
Thick as mint, dude, honestly.
I've had such a fun time with it. Like I keep wanting to mint more bills. Like I literally every morning I'll wake up and just like click on all these buttons and stuff like that just to kind of mint one live. Like just to kind of get my little fix almost. And I'm like, I need to realize like you need to dial it back a little bit too, because at the same time, there's going to be more of these phases. There's 7 more of them, and they're going to be discounted for holders of the different assets and things like that. So we'll see how this continues to like go on. It's just been interesting to kind of see like the development and experiment in some ways, I guess.
I'm just happy. Like, I mean, you see this, you've seen projects in the past. They don't use something like peppermint or something like that. And they have some rough mints. And it definitely is something that's kind of like that early on. Like, what's going on here, guys? It's 2023. We can't really be having some of these issues with some of these mints. You just don't really like to see it. It's not the end of the world always, but it is like something that we would like to see, and it does kind of show a little bit more professionalism when you can pull off a solid mint that runs smoothly. And I mean, just how well that's ran, and then how different it is, that experience with minting, like kind of understanding that it really fits old money. I know more projects are probably going to try and do these kind of mint experiences type deals, but it fits the old money theme so well, and it makes so much sense that they did it, that they've done it this way.
Oh, 100%. And I just love the fact that if anybody missed out on that first experience, like you get a chance to get back in now, like for these bills. We don't know what these are going to do in the future. We have no idea outside of it really just being like the next bill mint. And I seen somebody, I think it was Annihilator in our Discord today, like asked, he's like, what is the draw? Like they've minted so many assets over time. Like, why are you buying into this right now? And in my like short answer, I guess, was that it was the artwork mixed with like the community for me. Like this is not a like zip and flip type of project. I've definitely taken profits on some of the stuff in the past that I was able to mint, but that was because I was able to get it at a discount for holding some of their stuff. So that there is like a give and take with them. Like they understand, like if we're going to print more stuff, we're going to give it to our supporters at a discount. And if the public wants it, they're going to sell it a little bit higher. So if you want to make that flipping opportunity, you can do that. But every single asset in their collection all has relevance, and it's not like anything that gets forgotten. So a lot of these later rounds that we're going to see are going to have some sort of like incentive for holding those old things. And then as this mint goes on, you'll eventually be able to have your ID, like your MFR ID, and all those assets will play into building that ID out in the future. Has to do with their MFR token. There's a lot of stuff that's still upcoming, but right now, like Tom, you mentioned it too. Like you were like, I don't know, it's a bold claim, but I'm starting to feel like I like the MX mint better than the original 0.2 bills.
It's just kind of the layout, like how everything kind of fills the extra space and things like that. And then of course, they've just been able to really, they've learned, from the early days. Like they made the first bills are fantastic, but now they just are able to fit in so much. The amount of things that we probably haven't even uncovered yet. They're little Easter eggs and things like that. Like we were saying, that head in the jar, I only recognize because they did that. They kept that guy's head like in a jar. It's still in a jar. So I just know that picture. But there's other pictures on the wall, even during the beginning stages of that mint stuff. And I'm sure a couple of those, are some cool little Easter eggs. Not necessarily directly related to old money, but just cool little things that they kind of built into their lore, or like, their atmosphere, I guess, more of.
I might like these better than the original ones too. I even like the button down, the one you minted, Tom. I want to wear that actually in real life.
Oh, like the old money, like
the button down one, the one you guys wearing. I like that a lot.
Like you said, there's so many Easter eggs built inside of these, like with the degradations. And one of my favorite things, he tweeted this over here. Cool. He put this over back to me, but the funny part is he clipped this and was like, This is on my build that we were just showcasing, and it said it has a guy with a gun just pointed at somebody who's like tied up, and it says, "Why do you flip?" They needed fiat, and it's just like little funny things like that, where if you like really dive into the details of some of this stuff, like they actually are really funny. And like you said, there's
well
still
thought out for sure.
There's still so much that's unknown about it too, because I was posting this in the Discord. So the one that I minted this morning, right here, it says
My
like,
That's what
Lord,
mine said.
Mountaineers and BJs.
oh yeah, that the little there's 3 different like word sayings you can get for each one in the metadata, and like
I got
they
the
all
gangsters, I think.
I forget which one. I had something that was I had BJ's on one of mine as well. But the one thing that's interesting is when you get to the reveal screen too, it says like this unlock thing there at the bottom. We had it live on one of the streams, but there's also I've also seen the sketchy, and I got a sketchy this morning right there. So you either get nothing or sketchy. Nobody has any idea what this means yet. So there's still like a lot of unknowns. And the band colors, there's the world band, which we showcased, was like the purple one, and they've got the red one, which is the rare currently. But who knows where where this is going to go as the phases go on. So I love that nobody knows exactly how this is going to end, even themselves, where they're like, I don't know, we're going to see what happens.
I just like too that the kind of pressure is off them too. They're not sitting here like we have to mint this out or we got to leave and rug
Yeah.
or end our project right now. They can kind of just like let people enjoy it, let people have fun, continue to mint. People are still going to keep posting over the weeks as they continue to mint and the new stages open up. And there's no real kind of like rush or pressure, I feel like, on their end. It seems like where they're able to just really have fun and enjoy the mint.
100%. Yeah, everybody just like sits back and it's kind of more in marble of like, oh, this is what you got. Oh, this is really cool. Like it kind of almost is like the first one in a way, of where people were kind of sleeping on it because of the 88 a mint price at the time, where nobody wanted it. Didn't mint out right away. It took a while to do it. And as more and more people did it, like the community started to form and people would buy in and be like, look at this bill. And like I remember talking to Q about that. He's like, it was such a fun time in a Discord, because as it started to get closer and closer to Sellout, more and more hype kind of built around it, and like different traits that people started to kind of get accustomed to. And I kind of see the same thing on like, it's crazy that they're able to even curate an environment similar to that in this market right now. Like it is really, really a cool, like kind of like similarity, on top of also like the whole fact that the economy is doing what it's doing right now, with them kind of making fun of that's what their whole project's about, is this inflationary tale, printing more money, and the government's just being corrupt, and it just plays so well currently with the current world events. So
there was a show, it reminded me, there was a show on HBO called Brink, and it only was on a season, but it was Tim Robbins. Yeah, that's Andy Dufresne, right? Tim Robbins and Jack Black was in it. And there's a scene where Jack Black's negotiating for this warlord that wants like a bribe, essentially, or money wired to him. It's $20 million or something, $100 million. So he's talking to Tim Robbins, who's like a Secretary of State. He goes like, yeah, he asked for $100 million. That's a lot of money, isn't it? And the Secretary of State just goes like, we can print as much of that shit as we want, like for the government.
Right. 100%. It's a joke almost at this point with what's going on.
The bullet hole one is awesome.
I do love the bullet hole one. There's so many good ones right now.
I like that berry face you were just showing too. That berry face.
Yeah, it was a berry face.
Cool. Yeah. At first, when I first saw those,
too, by the way,
we saw those originally. I think me and TJ, that was when you were actually off the show, Tommy. We were going over the dead pixel face, I think. The berry face, I gotta admit, at first when I was looking at it, I thought it was like, I didn't pick up on the Cardano dots at first, and I was like, is that like some like weird Wu-Tang Clan like version, like symbol? I couldn't quite figure that out. But yeah, no, that looks fantastic.
I was looking at the thing in the bottom left there, Mothers of Fuckers Cartel.
Appealing
wealth and read my tits right there.
Oh, yeah. The metadata for those.
But then it says Mothers of Fuckers Cartel underneath the distribution local.
Yeah, because there's that one section, like Tommy and me picked the clown cartel. I don't think that's probably the official name, but I know there's a whole bunch of them. I think there were 6 choices there for the cartels.
Oh God, some of these are so good right here. Of course,
and it's so like, just scroll down though while you're on that, Tommy. Look at it's similar to the other ones, so it gets a little overwhelming. Like there's so many traits and so many different things to sort through, and especially if you're coming in new, where it's like I don't know. Like I can see there's a lot of traits here. I can see some of them are 2%, some are 1%, things like that. So they're like more rare as far as distribution in the actual like amount of assets. But which ones are the ones that are like wanted? Which ones are sought after? Which ones are the ones that actually are like worth some money?
And it's all like from an art perspective. Yes, you got the trade rarities and stuff like this. Like here's the dead pixel head right here, where you actually got the dead pixel mixed in with that. And the red band right here is definitely a rare trait, just based on like the actual like sheer number of them. But then there's ones where it's like some people are valuing, like you said, you like the bullet holes look clean. Some people really like the really dirty ones that are out there. You have the laser eyes. Like there's so many like really cool like things. There's bodies of like the bones, and there's so many different things that people are discovering where they're starting to form their own little subgroups and rarities, like just like they did with the Jokers, the Octos, all the different stamps that were out there from the first one, the Illuminati. Like there were so many different like subgroups that were formed out of this, and I think you're starting to see that here. And people are only, I feel like we just touched like the tip of the iceberg with this stuff. Like the lasers are some of my favorite. I was able to actually get one of those I minted, but this really like crazy looking stuff that I feel like we haven't even like really got to the bottom of yet.
And I like that even just the backgrounds are all different. Like you'd think like, okay, you know, normally you have a dollar bill, $5 bill, $10 bill, whatever. And those are where the difference comes in as far as like how the look of it goes in the background. And these are all that, you know, 0.0001. But they still have all those different backgrounds and all those different locations and things like that as far as what they have in them.
Well, the degradations are one thing we talked about. I don't know. Can you guys see the Discord right now?
Can you guys now we can?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. So this was we were talking about where some of these guys like Ken over here, he tweeted or he messaged like, "Hey, my degradation that I received way back when, I actually got a bill that had that same degradation on it, like
That's
from
dope.
and then same thing here with MF or Quattro, he had the same thing, the little blue heart, and they were able to actually get that same degradation. So they had asked if anybody else, and I hadn't actually got one yet. And I realized mine was the coffee one that he had sent me, but it was called the barista spill. So I went ahead and like screenshot it on my phone, like the exact like placement of this, and was actually able to go into like the marketplace and like actually like really look at it. And you can kind of see like the same similarities. It's hard to see on maybe this screen right here, but yeah, this same little degradation.
I actually see it better now that you zoomed out.
Oh, on the little ones like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to see on the computer maybe, but yes, yeah, you can kind of see the same similarity. So it was cool to like really see how much time. Like I got sent this almost. It's getting closer to a year now, and here we are with that mint. So it's really cool to see like the back and forth.
Yeah, that was like that's crazy that how long it reminds me like there's certain shows that are able to really accomplish that. The one that comes to mind at least that stands out the most is like Arrested Development. That's a show that you has so much depth as far as some of the callbacks. Always Sunny does a good job of that as well. Or like you'll see something that's even just as simple as a line in like third or fourth season that was from like episode 2 or 3. And it's so cool to see this where you really can like it's not something that if you don't know, it ruins the experience or you feel maybe left out, but it is just something for if you have been following closely or have been involved, it's just that extra little like, cherry on top where it's like, this is so cool. Like just the attention to detail. It wasn't just stuff they made up on the fly. It wasn't just kind of like thrown together randomly. Like it was like, it's been thought out now for a long time.
Dude, I can't imagine like if you really think about like the concept to where it is now, like how much time they really did put into that. Like it's wild to like look back and be like, yo, they did this then just to get the result now. Like how much hard work that really does take in. And I think that's one of the reasons why like the artwork coupled with the development from Hudro is why I think there's such a winning combo when it comes to just old money in general. And I think a lot of people it's very confusing sometimes maybe because it's not your traditional like animal profile pick, but it is like an actual true artist and tricks and Hood developing stuff, and these guys they have that sense of humor and it just blends perfectly like just with the overall narrative. And on top of that, the community is a lot of fun. So it's definitely a certain vibe for certain people. Like it's not your everyday project, but I think it almost roots back to the whole sense of like why you're in like some of these projects and maybe taking a different look at it of like, I'm a collector here and this is just being part of this collective. And on top of that, like embracing the Web3 of like, yes, you can be a collector of things, but there's a whole like sub community once you're a part of that you get access to. And it's unlike anything you've ever experienced outside of like just the Web2 of like, oh, I bought this brand and I'm a part of that. Like this is, that next level, I guess.
So well, I guess it's something that like, you had that question from what's the Anax Mander that asked it? Annihilator. Yeah. Even on like where I minted mine today, this morning. And it was just kind of one of those things. Like I didn't necessarily mint it because I'm like, oh, this is like goofy gophers. They're gonna like be minting Litecoin and it's gonna have return. I'm gonna get 8 cent back to me or things like that. Just like no, I'm into this just because it's a good time. I just really enjoy the community. I can't be showing my face around the Discord if I don't, I can't be like, oh, this is my favorite project. Oh, what's your MX bill look like? Oh, I didn't get one. do you mean your favorite project? Like, come on, what are you talking about? Like, you got to get involved. And I just, I felt I had to, just because I love them so much. And it's like, I'm not going to miss out on this, because I knew I'd regret it if it sold out. I just never bought one. And then, not saying it is going to go up, but if I wanted to buy in secondary and it was higher, I just felt so stupid. I'm like, I'm just going to mint one now. I'm going to get in. I want to be a part of this. And I also wanted to experience it myself and kind of get to click through the buttons and play with it.
I'm just looking for the other phases so I can mint.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. And that's the best thing. Right, if you don't want to mint in the 400 thing and you're not in the public, if you hold different assets in there, they're going to be anywhere from 50 to 75% off. So that's their nod back to people who want to be in the project. So,
well, the one says something, show me your tits or something like that.
There is tit. It's called tit time.
Tit time. Yeah. I've heard it both ways. But
anytime.
I'm probably gonna mint another one then. We do have some tits, and I'll probably just grab some more then, or another one.
I have 2 tits.
I agree. I'm waiting. I kind of don't want to like blow all my mint money that I've had set aside for this. I wanted to like kind of see the next stage, to see what buttons become available. Maybe the keypad fixes itself on the ATM at some point. We'll see.
Maybe the heads change in the area there.
Hey, I'm just looking forward to minting, a little A-meth over here. Well, guys, I think that'll kind of wrap us up towards the back end over here.
What?
About that time, hit the old dusty road.
About that time, we were like, we were knock this out in nice like 45 minutes over here. And here we are, just going on some great conversations, great topics. Even in this bear market, there's still stuff to talk about because, hey, people are out here, they're looking for stuff to do, and we're here to provide some content for you guys. So appreciate everybody always showing up here every week and always getting a chance to hang out with us, making this still fun to do even when shit's down. I'm looking forward to the day that when this really does take off, we can kind of look back at episodes and like times like this where it was just like, what were we even thinking back then? Like everything's gonna be all right.
Maybe speaking of down, you're like so much lower in your chair. Like it's just,
it was throughout the progressive throughout the episode. We're just getting tinier and tinier and tinier, and then